What is going on, Cowboy Nation? Welcome back to Primetime Studios. Like always, I'm your host, Primetime Phil, and it's the Dallas Cowboys offseason. Of course, we're all into the drama, and the person that doesn't bring any drama for me, thank God, is GameTime Bryan. What's going on, GameTime?
Primetime Phil, what's up, my man? How will you do?
We are
good,
here
man.
on a Thursday to throw
doing?
off the whole timing of everything. I was debating on whether I was going to have a broadcast this week, and Brian's like, "Man, no, we got to do it, man. We got to do it. We got to talk about this Cowboy news."
You got to do something.
Yeah.
You know, I know Phil's a busy man. We're all busy, but he's busy, and I think we could have skipped, but for our peeps, we're here.
Exactly.
We got to talk.
We got to
talk Cowboys and NFL. A lot going on.
One person I'm happy to see here, Joe Gonzalez. Welcome. I'm glad that you're doing well.
Joe. What's
you're
up,
tuned
Joe,
in.
Joe?
I appreciate everybody tuning in. Mike Twiz, Stacy for coming through as well. But yeah, I was very happy to see Joe and JoJo in the chat.
Michael
So welcome, definitely. Angelica,
Is.
I was just asking about Angelica as well too. So
yeah,
welcome.
Angelica. He just said I haven't seen Angelica. I'm like, Angelica, she's a vet. I think she's a vet tech. I think Angelica. I believe that's what you said. I said you're probably busy.
Yeah. But, I'm we're ready to talk some more Cowboys football. I mean, some of the same subjects, but things are being pushed in order. We don't know what's going on. Honestly, there's always speculations around everything. Of course, the one speculation that we didn't have is what now Tony Pollard is a franchise player. So, what do you think about that move?
Listen, I can't change it. So I know Rhonda hates when we're negative, anything negative. But I have to keep it real. I got to keep it honest. I wasn't thrilled with it because with all the running backs that are out there, Phil, I think that we could have brought them back even cheaper than that.
I agree.
But at the end of the day, if anybody saw my video on my channel, my lunchtime chat, I looked at it like this, Phil. I looked at it like I look at Pollard as a weapon, not so much as a running back.
I agree.
Because even when he's going to be the guy, he's not going to be your traditional block, like a Zeke type. He's a weapon. You're going to move him, put him in motion, flank him out. So I'm okay with it. As long as we draft a young stud,
okay, let
somewhere
me ask you a
in the
question.
first four rounds.
I'm going to keep it in this category because there's a lot within this subject. With Tony Pollard, let's say they don't go out and get somebody young in the draft, and they decide Malik Davis is our backup, and we're going to keep. Rico? Is Rico Dowdle still around? I don't know. But let's say they keep those
I think
things.
he's around.
Because of the franchise tag and the possible restructuring, does Tony become the main running back, or because of the injury, Zeke keeps that role? That's
I think they're drafting somebody. I really do. I really think they're going to draft somebody. I'm hearing a lot of conflicting reports right now. I just saw that we got 3 more comp picks this afternoon.
Yes, that's what I was going to bring up as well too. But let's stay on the subject now.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Well, I don't know what you're like. We didn't. Hey, people, me and Phil don't have a run sheet. We don't say we're going this. So he's got to keep me in line. I just literally saw it. But
I saw it too. I got excited. About it.
I think Phil is going. I think Tony is going to be a 1 year and then gone, most likely. But that's fine. I'm okay with it. It sounds like they're bringing Zeke back. It sounds like they're bringing everybody back. Mm-hmm. So.
Everybody have return the party. Make sure you keep your receipts because you're just allowed right back. The re-entry is no fee at all. So the restructuring you're hearing, staying on there before we go too far into that. But the running back, if they were to draft somebody, let's say a Robinson, a Gibbs, for example, does that guy become the main running back? Tony the second, or how does that order end up becoming?
I would think that they would. You got to remember, Tony's coming off
an injury,
a broken leg.
I
don't think they're going to get Robinson, and I don't know that they're going to get Gibbs.
Job Holmes, I like it.
There's a lot of running backs, and there's a lot. You got the Auburn running back. You got the Georgia running back. Believe it or not, he's like fourth round type guy. They like Miller out of TCU. So I think they, well, I mean, like, I don't know, man. I don't know what your run sheet is for our show, but I think that they're not going to take one in the first round. I would be
I don't think
highly surprised.
I think you're going to see what they do with Zeke's contract in this time before the draft is going to kind of tell you a lot of what they're going to be doing at running back going in there. Do they value it? Are they thinking it? Are they just pushing it to the back burner,
This is what I hope at this point, since we already re-signed Pollard for a year. This is what I hope, Phil. I hope that them and Zeke can get on the same page on a severe reduction in salary. If Zeke was smart, he would sign a contract with some incentives, but on the lower side. I'm not going to throw out a number, but a lot lower, because you're hearing, oh my God, the Cowboys are going to play with their backfield making $26.5 million. No, they're not. They're not going to. I mean, Zeke will be gone before that. But at this point, I'd rather bring back Zeke on a reduced role. This is why I said the other day that I think Zeke may actually have a longer staying power in Dallas than Tony Pollard. Bring him back and still draft a young guy. It doesn't have to be in the first round, but I'm going to stick to my board, Phil.
Thank you, Mary.
I actually did a bunch of mocks last night, just messing around after I got my power back. I had sent out a link that I was going to go live and lost power, and then I got power, and then it was in and out. I'm like, oh no, I'm not good at this, let alone deal with that.
So that's how you know you are in the YouTube community, because your crap will start doing this.
Yeah, it literally was right before. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But anyway, Bijan was there for the first time, and I'm like, wow, if he's there, you have to take him. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, he's going to be the highest guy, but there's a lot of backs. We don't need Bijan. We don't even need my guy Jahmyr Gibbs. There's plenty of backs in this draft.
I agree. So. Don't get best available. Mike is pointing out a good subject, I think, that could kind of push us away from the running back situation, because there's a lot to be desired within this running back, backfield. What we want is not necessarily what the Jones want, and we can preach to the to the cows come home, but it just they just falls on deaf ears. I mean, they just don't understand that part of it. They're making these decisions that are just like, we're like, what is going on? Like, if it was just Jerry making it, I'd probably say maybe senile kind of stuff going on. But that's a group effort right there. So it baffles me. But Mike is pointing out, and I've heard this just recently, are we seriously going after a tight end early? I don't. Dude, I would think that'd be. I don't think that they'll
go first round, but I'm excited to do that. I'm sorry, there are some studs. I see a lot
of studs in general that you can get in the 4th, 5th, and even 6th round. I like. There's a lot of tight ends in this draft that I really like.
I'll tell you what I don't want in the first round. I do not want an offensive lineman in this year's draft in the first round. I'd rather go edge rusher.
If somebody falls, if somebody was to fall, maybe.
Like the guy from Army or Nolan Smith, if they're there, jump on it.
Carter Jr. Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, like Carter. Dude, he's a beast.
Yeah. He's a big dude. He's raw. He still needs to develop a lot of stuff. But yeah, you like what you see. He's a big. What is he, like 6'7", 6'8"? What is he?
Yeah. He's I think dude. He's listed at 6'7".
Yeah, it's like,
but he's a big dude.
Bruce Irvin kind of stuff.
I wouldn't be opposed. I don't think this guy's going to be there, but the Utah tight end.
What's up, Glimmer Man?
That's what's up, Glimmer Man? I saw your comment last night. Sorry, man. Diva. The Utah tight end is a Travis Kelce 2.0. So you got to make it. You're gonna, if he's there, his stock is going up. I had Michael Meyer. As my number 1 early on, but I think this kid might shoot past him just because of his athletic ability. Yeah. Dude, I'm excited about the tight ends. I'm not saying you have to go first round.
I would like it in the middle because why? I want that second tight end. I love Ferguson. I think he's definitely that person for this offense. I said as soon as he was drafted, I really like how he is. It just definitely fits within it. Now, is it Kellen Moore's scheme that he fit more of, and Jason Garrett's old scheme? It kind of makes you wonder what he's going to be able to fit within this West Coast offense. But when you look at him, I like Hendershot. I think he's still really raw. There was some kind of flag each drive because he just plays. He plays hard, and that sometimes draws fouls. And that's what you were getting on him. But I loved it. I wouldn't tell him to change anything. I can deal with that one penalty if he's giving that much output. So I would love to get that and have Hendershot more that number 3 and have a tight end in that middle part there. So, I mean, I would be okay, but I do not want to do it early. I'm with you right there on that one. But
yeah, I don't want to reach for a corner either. We're both kind of conflicting on Banks out of Maryland. And I know we're getting caught up in names, people. I'm not trying to get people,
Kincaid.
have you guys zone Kincaid out. But, I know what you're saying.
Kincaid,
it'll be interesting to see what we do.
What do you think, Mike Aldana? Do you think Kincaid is a first rounder, or you think he's more of a second round? Would you be okay with that, like a second or third? I mean,
Kincaid is flying up the charts, man. But I want to hear what Mike's got to say. Let's go, Mike. What do you got?
Blue Virus. What's going on, Blue? You're my boy.
Hey, what up, man? What's up, Virus?
But no, and it's just the tight end is definitely exciting. You get excited about the position because they're young. They played a great rookie season. They were able to show what they can do within this offense, and they made it another weapon. And so that's where you kind of feel you haven't heard anything about Dalton Schultz. You haven't heard of any speculations really from anybody. A real quick comment, and they're right back into another subject. So you really have not heard anything. So if anything was to really happen, whether they released them or whether they signed them, I wouldn't be really surprised about anything when it comes to Dalton Schultz. It baffles me a little bit with that because, it just seems like they would have said something, especially with how they like to put their foot in their mouth.
Yeah. Aiden Morales Ford, you were the star of the show back in the summer, man. What's up, little man?
Aiden, yes, yeah. I had the Aiden photos.
Yeah. I want them to stick to the best available, but I think it's going to be interesting. I'm hearing again that there is a big move to be made. So I don't know, man. Like Phil said, we're going to know a lot because by next week we need to be under the cap. So we're going to know who they're going to release. And that's going to really open up holes for the draft. You know how that works, Phil. Mm-hmm. I don't like to have holes, but it seems like last year we went into the draft with a lot of holes. So you can look at it two ways. You can look at it, well, we got a lot of holes, so we can pick any position, or they're going to do what I hate, and oh my God, we don't have a hole, so we're going to reach for a position as opposed to taking the best guy.
Well, the past 4 or 5 years, how many times have maybe Taco Charlton? What was it? The other one? What's the other D lineman? Oh man, I can't. Tristan Hill. Maybe some of those where you're reaching a little bit. But for the most part, they've done a really good job of picking the talent within. And I think we all can agree that we would rather have Asante Samuel Jr. than Kevin Joseph. I mean, there's been those iffy moments.
Right. Exactly. And that's the one thing about Dan Quinn. Everybody loves themselves some Dan Quinn, and me too, but he gets locked in on a certain size, and that's why that's true. When you look at this year's draft, we look at and they don't like short receivers. So it's like you automatically start saying, well, they're not going to do that.
They're eliminating a lot of this draft.
So and there's a lot of talent.
Glimmerman wants to know, maybe you can go on there. What position in the draft is deepest?
The deepest position in the draft, I would say it's I would probably say I don't know, man. I would say probably tight end or running back is real deep, man. Like I said, you don't have to jump for the running back, but I would say
I That's a good two positions. I like that tight end and running back.
Yeah,
there's a lot of
I
talent
would say
within the
they're
corners,
the deepest.
but once you get past a certain number, like 6 or 7, there's a drop off.
Yeah, like the guards and one of the guards I was looking at, Voorhees. He was looking at he was looking at like a third round guard. He tore his ACL at the combine, so he ain't. He'll probably be drafted by Dallas because he'll slip down to the 6 and he'll be a bargain, which is fine. But guard is really short in this draft. There's a guy that I really like, Phil. I think we could bring in John Michael Schmitz, the center out of Minnesota. I really like him, and he's big enough to play guard. So this is my plan. And, if he's there in the third round, which he shouldn't be, but if he's there in the third round, you might want to pick up a John Michael Schmitz.
Well, there's always
play him, and then when our center comes up, Tyler Biadasz, we have a plan if we don't want to resign him because he's literally the best center in the draft, but he's big enough to play guard.
Yeah.
I want to see moves like that. I understand we got a center, but I just want to stick to the best player. I really do.
Yeah, Glimmerman points out that Marinelli liked light, fast D tackles. It was a mistake, and that's true. I mean, that was the reason why we were getting gashed by the run all the time. I mean, when you got a guy like Hankins that came in, they're a big body dude that he's great at holding that the blocker and just being able to go into one gap or the other, and waiting for the running back to kind of make his move. And you just did not have that with a lot of those guys. I mean, what was the most heaviest? I was never wrapped around the whole Tyron Crawford situation. I felt like he was a good leader for the locker room, but there was a lot of stuff that came with him. So I think they stuck with them a little bit too long. They got wrapped up in the whole contract. A lot of what you're seeing still. So I think Glimmerman is right as well when he points this out. Who is at 26? Someone will slip to us. That's what I feel as well too. Because you could say some names, and there's going to be people that are going to be like, well, they're not going to be there. Not going to be there. Not going to be there. Well, there's somebody that slips through there. CeeDee Lamb was not supposed to be there. There's going to be an edge rusher. I think so.
There's going to be an edge rusher that slips to us that's of high quality. Whether it's a Kancey out of Pittsburgh, and my question to you, Phil, is we know that he's the top 15 guy. Would they take a 6-foot lineman? Because, he's being compared to Aaron Donald 2.0. That's how fast his first step is off the ball. But that Dan Quinn doesn't like smaller guys. So I think an edge rusher could slip to us.
See, I look at a guy like
corner.
Yeah, I mean, I look at a guy like Nolan Smith, and I see he's good, and he doesn't have the weight yet. He doesn't have all that. He's great at that zone block that we were just talking about, where he holds that block, he holds that tackle, and he kind of just goes in or out. And you just see it and he's a little. I'm not saying he's a little dude in general compared to me. I mean, he's big, but when you look at him compared to a lot of the guys that he's gone against. He's definitely undersized, and he's been able to make a lot of moves. So you think, eat that peanut butter, get that, going into the gym over there. That could be a special dude right there. Yep, little man.
Yeah, if Bijan is there, I'm sorry, but you have to take him. I'm just going in my head about guys who could be there where you have to go maybe in a position that we don't. I don't think you should take Osiris Torrance. I don't think you should take Torrance at that position.
Yeah. Gina says, we need to keep Dono. I wish that was a possibility. I mean, I think he's going to demand some money. I think we were definitely talking about that last week, where he would love to be one of those guys, but with what you're going to have to pay him to kind of stay, and I wish the best for Dono. I just think he's one of those guys, again, those casualty guys that you're not hearing about, just because, we don't even want to address
Donovan
him.
Smith, they really want him back, but I'm telling you, his market's going to be big. So, I think that Van Der Esch is gone. But there's linebackers that I love later in the draft.
Yeah, I do too.
Let me put a name out there that could be a possibility with our first pick. The linebacker out of Arkansas. Help me out with the name. Is it Henson or Drew? It's Drew something out of Arkansas. I'm seeing him rise up on the boards. He's all over the field, makes tackles. I think that could be a possibility, like as a guy that nobody's thinking about. I would. But I like the linebacker out of Washington State. Like later, there's a lot of linebackers I like. So expect us to get a linebacker at some point in this draft. I think Leighton Vander Esch is gone. I think we got a better chance to bring back Donovan than I think we do Leighton Vander Esch. And I don't blame Leighton. Yeah. He took a cheap deal last year.
To revalue himself. He needed to, really, honestly. He went out there, tested it, didn't have anything, really. Blue Virus wants to know, what's your guesses, what's your guys' thoughts on Max Duggan? Remember the quarterback that Jerry Jones liked to point out? He ran a very fast 40. I mean, he's definitely always that runner style quarterback. How's his arm? I think that's going to be
Max Duggan. Yeah, it's not great. He'll be a free agent, I think. Maybe somebody will pick him up in the 7th, but I don't think that.
So you could probably see him walking on, especially if Jerry has commented before. You might get one of those guys. You know how they love those undrafted free agents.
Aiden O'Connell, you brought him up, and like the more I see of him, the more I like him. Aiden O'Connell, he's got the size, he's got the arm strength, he's got a lot of starts. He kind of reminds me of a Brock Purdy with more tools out of Purdue. Mm-hmm. I like him in like the 6th round. So,
hello, Lady Libra DC for life. welcome.
Lady Libra,
I watched some of his stuff. I think I've watched him more in the highlights of Miller, trying to see what he was like. So I was like, I liked his handoff.
Yeah.
His handoff was really good. I did see some of the tape
Max,
where he was scrambling. So he did have that.
Sanders, that's it, Aldana. That's it, buddy. Drew Sanders.
You know that you're probably correct in the sense that he probably will go undrafted. Just because I think there's definitely some quarterbacks there. There's a lot of quarterbacks there that I think are going to be ahead of him. But you never know. You might have just one. There's always takes one team that goes, I want a running style quarterback. I want a guy that can. I have a terrible offensive line and he'd be able to. What is the Houston Texans going to do after the one quarterback that they're going to draft right in the 1st round, right? Who's their backup?
Unbelievable.
What?
Yeah, unbelievable.
With Houston?
Unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, they're taking a quarterback. I don't blame them, but they're going to take a quarterback. Seattle's probably going to take a quarterback.
So, Brian, tell me, since we're talking about the draft, what picks did the Dallas Cowboys get? To let everybody know.
I don't know. I thought I was going to.
So, we have.
I don't know exactly.
We have the 5th rounder. It was going to be 169. We have another 5th rounder that's 176. And a 6th rounder that's 212. And that is from Kyle Yeoman with that report there. So, that's awesome.
We got to get him on more. Again. On.
What's that?
We got to get Kyle on.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of broadcasting stuff. I like listening to. He's been doing ladies basketball as well too. I mean, some of these sports that he plays, I'm like, no, there's no way he understands what's going on in the sense of the backstories and the. No, he does. He's like, well, he calls him on a Tuesday and they study film. Yeah, he knows it. It's kind of crazy, man. He's definitely a knowledgeable guy. So yeah, I would, we definitely have to get him on here. We talk about hopefully before this draft as well too.
He reached out to you, so that was cool.
But
we just haven't been able to link up.
Yeah, Glimmerman says LVE is going to hurt. He was better than what we gave him credit for, but played through peanuts last year. Cox apparently not going to do it. Yeah, I think that's a big surprise for me with Cox. Just because, we all expected just something, at least enough playing time to allow everybody to kind of evaluate him or what's going on. It's just. You almost it makes you wonder if he slept with somebody's wife, like in the coaches, and he's been on the naughty list or something. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't seem right. I want to. We all want to see more from him, and I just want to see opportunities. I think that's where the preseason we need to use some more, and obviously he needs to stay healthy as well too. You need to be able to be available. And I think that's something we haven't had from him. But, again, remember, these are also guys like Donovan Wilson that had that problem, too. He couldn't stay healthy for us. And then when he finally came and able to play for us, he was amazing. So you're hoping that's what you get from him.
I got a question for you, Phil.
Go ahead.
Well, go ahead. Get to your...
No. I was just chat? I was just going to the chat. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's clear to me that Tyron Smith is coming back. I got news for people. I got news for everybody. He's coming back to play left tackle.
Yeah, I think so too. I think
they're not. I think he's coming back to play left tackle. I think Steele will be ready to play right tackle.
And hopefully get him for cheap then. Right? Yeah. You get Steele.
I think we'll have Let's Go will be the swing guy. He's doing well. But I really think he's going to play left tackle. They're going to bring him back on a $5-6 million deal.
That's so true.
But it's just frustrating. But they're going to slide Tyler to guard, and McGovern's gone. I don't think McGovern has a shot in hell to come back. I just don't.
Yeah, probably for the number that he's going to be wanting, and he'll be a starter somewhere else. Again. It's kind of like that Connor Williams hasn't developed exactly like you want him to, and by the time he was developing where you were hoping the development was in his sophomore year, it's in his fifth year, where they're showing some polish. And is it utilization? I don't know, man. They were running him at fullback a lot of the times because they were just trying to get him in there blocking. So I would not blame them for allowing him to walk, but just get somebody, whether it's in free agency. But I don't want the bargain bin basement.
I think it's his last year.
You think?
I wouldn't be opposed to it. I wouldn't be opposed to it because the fact that you have Tyler Smith who could step in at left tackle. I don't think it would be. I don't think it would be the worst thing to do. It's just I was just trying to find money. But they're going to redo Dak's deal. They're going to stretch that contract way out. Mm-hmm. He's going to be making between 45 and 50 mil, so get ready. But they'll stretch it out with some voidable years at the end. It is what it is. But we'll know more this time next week because by the 15th, I think, that they have to be under the cap. So they're going to make cuts that we're not thinking about.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
I agree. Do you see Anthony Brown also walking? Do you see them kind of just allowing him to kind of...
I think he's gone. Mm-hmm. I think he's gone.
Now, because of the uncertainty at corner, do you keep a guy like Jordan Lewis? Or are you happy with Bland putting him there and hoping to find something else?
Well, Bland's good, but they're going to draft at least one corner in the draft. Where I don't know. Like with Dan Quinn, he has a perfect fit that he likes. This.
Well, let me ask the chat, and I'll ask you as well.
Is not his guy.
What if they got a corner in the first? Would you be disappointed in that? Would you be happy? Depending on
who it is, man. I'm not that high. I like Banks, but not at that spot. I don't think he's worthy of that pick. Stevenson out of Miami is possible. Joey
Banks.
Porter Jr. will be long gone.
Yeah, I think Porter's going to be gone as well. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yes, but when you're talking about in Philly, but regardless,
you're talking about that secondary. This is another person we're going to be talking about. In Blue Virus says it. So, are we keeping Malik Hooker? I think because of what's happening with Wilson and not that uncertain, you may have to. You got Bell that's ready to kind of do his thing. Yeah. But go ahead. You give me your opinion.
I think that's the one guy that might be the surprise cut. I don't know. I keep going back to it, but now, especially now that we're keeping Pollard on the tag, it sounds like they're trying to work it out with Zeke. I think Zeke's back. I think Tyron's back. maybe on cheaper deals. They're trying to get them on the cheap and restructure and all that, and that's all well and good, but that's not leaving us a lot of stuff on the back end. I think they're going to, there's going to be some surprise cuts. I don't know who that is, but and they're not bringing back Schultz. Look for Schultz to end up in San Diego.
San Diego, yep.
That's just my opinion.
Los Angeles?
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to remember, wherever the music stops, that's where they park their bus.
The Los Angeles Chargers, that's right.
So, Glimmerman asked this, and I'm going to jump on this as well, too. Is there a stud corner coming out? Again, someone that will slide down. Again, we're talking about these things. I think there's there's 5 corners that you could hit a home run with. But that also means that they could be busts. I mean, you got Joey Porter, looks good, but how will he transition to the NFL?
He could be a bust.
Deion, we were talking about Banks as well. He looks like he could possibly be something. He might not. I don't know. And then you got Cam Smith, for example. I really like him. Ringo.
I love Cam Smith. I love Cam Smith, and I love Ringo. Well. I think Ringo is probably high on their board. Taller guy.
I mean, there's some guys there
athletic.
that I think, man, you could really hit something. And then there might be a blend in the later rounds. I mean, you got some guys from Northwestern and Kentucky that are sitting there. That could possibly be somebody in the 6th or 7th round. So
you're going to have a guy from Syracuse I really like.
Garrett Williams. Garrett Williams. I really like him. I do like him in the 2nd round. If he was a 2nd round,
he's coming off an injury, but
yeah, that's okay. That's the way that he played. You're just kind of like, okay, he kind of really set the tone of that defense, I think, when you look at the secondary. You just need somebody to complement. I think when you even look back, okay, I'm going to go back and I'm going to bring them up. I'm so sorry for a lot of the people that hate us, but when you go back to our Super Bowl years in general, of course, even when you're looking at Deion Sanders, who was on the opposite of Deion Sanders? It had to be a competent, Kevin Smith, wasn't it? Like there had to be somebody over there.
Kevin Smith, exactly.
That was competent. You're going to get attacked a lot, so you need to be able to, and so you need that.
People forget that though. People don't even remember Deion. They don't remember Kevin Smith locking up the other side, and they're going at Kevin more and more, and he's coming up with the big play.
Exactly.
That's why I wouldn't be opposed to getting a cornerback in the 1st round. If, we just
haven't had great luck with
that. If Cam Smith is there,
I'd be okay with that. Yeah.
Jump all over Cam Smith. So
yeah, I mean, the last time we tried to go,
there's a lot of question marks.
Of what?
After Cam Smith.
And that's the truth. That's the truth. Yeah.
It's like, what flavor do you like? Do you want chocolate? Do you want vanilla? I mean, what do you want? They all offer different things. You got Tomlinson out of TCU, but he's on the shorter side,
But
so
he's a baller as well, too. I mean, you're going to get outballed by a lot of these taller guys in the NFL. But again, when we're looking at the talent pool that's there's a lot of hit and miss possible guys in that top. But I think a lot of them have the same traits in the sense that they can all tackle. And I think after that Trayvon Diggs not tackling, Kittle, you want a corner that can tackle, that can come up, is not afraid to put, hey, we never paid Deion to tackle, and definitely proved it. But he did other things. I think Trayvon, he does that. I'm not saying he's great. He's not Primetime at that point. But, I mean, the fact that he can play the ball in the air, I mean, having that old wide receiver school, I think that's brought something great. I think you just need to compliment him with what we had in Byron Jones when Byron Jones was here. A guy that just smacked the ball away and didn't try to pick it off. So that's the complimentary kind of thing.
Yeah, and I know that, shout out to Phil, looks like we're going to the draft. As much as, I like sexy and all, I think I would love to trade back and get a couple more picks. I only say that because I think what we're going to be looking at 26, unless a Robinson drops, I'm not going to be that disappointed. Even though I love Kincaid, the tight end. I think Kincaid is special as far as a pass catcher, route runner, elite speed. But I want to stock up on them 2nd and 3rds. You know what I mean? I want to get that area. There's a lot of
potential
guys.
Starters,
where we're picking
role players as well. And Mike Aldana points out most of us forget Kevin Smith came away with 3 Super Bowl rings with Dallas. And before and before Dion even got in there, he was that man. He was the guy that needed to be the number one corner.
Yeah,
so
it's guys like him. Yeah. It's guys like Godfrey Miles that everybody forgets about.
I forgot about
that linebacker. It's guys like Kenny Gant on special teams, and he was a nickel corner. He would come in. The shark. I mean, you don't always have to have a high pick, but I love the linebackers in the 3rd and 4th round. So it'll be interesting. That's why I said I would kind of like them to trade back, maybe get into the bottom of the 30s and add a third if you can. Man, that would be the sweet spot for everything that I would want. Get yourself a tight end, get yourself a corner, get yourself a linebacker. I just think we need to start moving young. I mean, we're a young team, but that's why it's going to be interesting, because we need to get under the cap. There is no ands, ifs, or buts. Did you see that there was a team who lost a pick today because they violated the salary cap?
I didn't see that. I did not see that. Oh,
yeah,
man.
The NFL
Larry
strips the Texans
Brown.
of a 5th-round draft pick.
See, Larry Brown to me is like Anthony Brown. Like it's like
Larry Brown's like Alvin Harper to me. Remember, he went and got a big deal.
Yeah, in Tampa. Oh, I remember that. Just couldn't Butterfingers.
Yeah.
And Larry Brown gets these.
Thanks,
Super Bowl MVP.
Okay.
Was he Super Bowl MVP that year?
Oh, I thought she was calling me sexy.
I can't remember if he was, but goes to the Raiders and gets an amazing contract, and you just saw that the Raiders had never really watched film on him. They just went with the fact that he was all these picks in the Super Bowl. That
was Al Davis. Oh wait,
yeah.
You won the MVP?
Yeah. Let's
go sign him.
What? You're the fastest punter? We're gonna draft you in the 1st round. You're like, that's a crazy old guy. Get out of here. Where's Eastside? Yes, Eastside's gonna be around when he gets a quarterback and he can start bragging about it. That's what's gonna happen with Eastside. Sometimes I'm getting ready in the morning, going to work, and I tune into 105 Fan and. And
you've got
that
side. Horrible ride where you look at the sunset and
the
water.
It's miserable.
Yeah, that's rough. He actually sends pictures of that shit to me in the morning, and I'm looking
trying to get them to
I
move down here, man.
I can see the wind outside. Yeah, he said,
I got
it
stare
rough.
at the picture about 2 minutes, you'll hear the wind. Oh, I'm there.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I would know. I did that to Mark. What did you guys one morning? I just over the bridge. It was just this beautiful view of the island that I was going to, and it was just like, all right, I got to definitely do something here.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Mark's under a crawl space, sweating his ass off,
but as soon as he comes out, it's cold as hell. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Brooklyn
what do you guys think about
Brooklyn.
Stephon Diggs? Did you guys see Stephon Diggs?
He
followed the Cowboys, and
yeah, I saw that.
What happened?
No, I was with you. I was just saying at a very high level that he had liked the Cowboys. I was like, yeah. I was up there.
What was going on for a second?
I got excited. I had
that was awful high though. I'm a little worried.
Yeah, I know, man.
Yeah.
That's the fanboy came out on me.
Yeah.
So
so he's really, really going hard, and speaking of receivers, diva receivers, OBJ is going to put on a workout for any teams that want his services.
Yeah,
so
you can do it with Des Bryant. That's probably the same thing that Des Bryant does.
Yeah.
Every year, I'm gonna come back. But I mean, at least
think
now
we got to at least talk about the elephant in the room. Yeah, what's everybody's thought on the Michael Irvin fiasco? Did you feel? I felt so bad for him. He is really caught up in this. What kind of life should he live? Where should he just not talk to anybody anymore? Because these guys put themselves out there, and people take advantage of them. Yeah, so it seems.
Yeah. Well, that's
he's
how
not
it is.
following anything criminal.
It doesn't matter what the situation is. There's always somebody taking advantage of the situation and always trying to get a payday out of it. Whether they're trying to scam somebody. I mean, and I'm not trying to take away from incidents that actually happen. Because that's a whole different thing. We had a whole bunch of stars that did that. But when you have a whole corporation that's kind of just not allowing things to like surface, and they're just kind of keeping it on, it seems all too shady.
It is shady because if it was so egregious, you would march yourself down to the police station and file a complaint. But that wasn't. But that didn't. This is all civil. This is all for money.
Yeah.
So I think Marriott is realizing that they screwed up, and I think this is all going to go away quietly. But if I'm Michael Irvin, I would sue NFL Network too. I'm sorry. I was guilty before you even. Yeah, talk to me. You thought you set me home.
I agree.
You know, I'll sue your ass too. So
and I was
sorry.
I was hearing on the fan, and they pointed it out. They pointed it out. They were just like, what if the witnesses weren't there? Like what kind of stuff?
Yeah, you got an Eagle fan coming out in support of Michael Irvin. Yeah. Come on now. If that ain't telling, and that's the one thing that was nice to see, because the one guy wasn't even a football fan. He was from like a different country, and an Eagle fan, and they have no love lost for Michael Irvin. Mm-hmm. But listen, man, what's right is right. I'm sorry, but these ambulance chasers or people, I don't even care, man. I don't care what he said. It's
Sugar nothing, Daddy, how's it going, sir?
It's just sad, man. This is what our country is going to, whether you're the left or the right, man. You don't speak for me, because I'm a guy who's down the middle, who wants to, get along with everybody, bring everybody together. I'm not here to divide.
I knew it was going that way once we got the coffee lawsuit for McDonald's. Like, how long ago was that? Where
it was too hot?
Yeah.
Who don't want their coffee hot, but it was too hot. Yeah. So we're gonna. So
as soon as that one happened, I was like, this is where it's gonna go. This is how it's gonna happen.
Yep. You got people.
One thing sad. When we were talking about, we're gonna jump back for a moment, because it was something that I heard from Bobby Belt. I thought it was hilarious. It was enough for me to be in the car going, when he was talking about Tyron Smith, he was talking about bringing him back, and they were talking about the same thing as we were talking about, in the sense that your ideal thought would be that he would go back to left tackle. You would move. Smith, Tyler Smith in, and you just hope, seeing how long Tyron Smith goes until you shift back out there. Now, what is he blocking? And I think Bobby Belt hit it right on the head. It's like he's blocking progress. That's what he's doing. The best thing he's doing is he's just blocking the progress. I mean, obviously, you need to know what you have in these other players, and it's up to those players also to be available. I mean, Josh Ball. Where's the thing on there? Waletzko was out because of injury, so you need to be available, and those are injuries that are happening, and these guys aren't playing full games. So that's where he wants to be the right tackle swinger, whatever, but you can't even practice and play, and it's only been a couple of years in the league, so that's where it worries me, especially when linemen get injured very early. And you don't get to see them. That's the part that I get concerned about. Is what's your availability? You got a guy like Tyron that's been busting his butt in there, and we want to see what his progress, and I just think that's another guy that's kind of forgotten there.
It's a progress stopper. I agree. I was kind of looking forward to turning the page on some of these guys. Mm-hmm. I think that Washington's going to be better. I'm sorry, Twiz, but the Eagles can't be as good.
Yeah, they're going to have
they're
some
losing.
Struggles, yeah.
A lot of they're heartbroken. CJ Gardner Johnson's going to be gone.
Twiz was talking about that earlier. I think they make it pull something. It just depends. What are they going to do with? I guess are they waiting to do the Jalen Hurts thing first, and then
it's going to be even. It's going to be even a closer division. Okay. Let's put it that way. And we've seen over the years, can they win it again? Yeah, they can. It's not out of the question, but odds are they're not going to win a division. Hurts is going to get $50 million. That's just the way it is. Now, the first year may not be a huge hit, but Eagles are not going to be big players in free agency. They can't afford to be. They're losing way too many guys. So. But you see what Daniel Jones is getting.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I was going to jump on there. What do you think about that whole combo? Okay, you get the franchise tag on Barkley. I can't say I'm surprised there. But then you have Daniel Jones 4 years, $160 million?
Well, in order to do the one, they had to do the other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Barkley was gone if they weren't working on a long-term deal. Yeah, I saw a stat. He has he's never thrown for more than 20 touchdowns. So in any year, he's the highest paid quarterback who has never thrown for more than 20 touchdowns in any given year. Just like, do you know how many like touchdowns like Jalen Hurts threw this year? He threw 22 touchdown passes.
But then he had a lot of rushing touchdowns.
22.
So I think that's where the Lamar
But
Jackson
he threw as a quarterback.
Yeah.
As a quarterback, he threw 22 touchdown passes. Just for shits and giggles. Dak threw 37 the year before. So, he almost doubled him. So, let's just keep that in mind. So,
well, I'm interested to see what the Giants do, just because, that chews up a big chunk. They're right in that category. Now you're paying that quarterback, and you have to build
welcome to our world.
Everything else. And anything that you've done, you said Tooney, what you do? You traded him off. There's some pieces that they've had that have just easily been traded off or released. So they don't have a lot of young, proven guys. So that's where you got to continue that now. You have to, they let Galloway, or was it Galladay gone? I can't remember his name.
Kenny Galladay is cut. Yeah,
so he's cut. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's got to be some dead money in there. So
he should go to Detroit. That's where he did good.
So or he could go back to Stafford. For example, he could go to the Rams. I think that would be a smart move because he was already used to that quarterback. So I think that would be a great move for them and the Rams. It just is availability, but again, they don't have a lot of those. They did get something. I'm not even sure what they got for Tooney. But you got Tooney. Obviously, was playing in the Super Bowl, scoring a touchdown in the Super Bowl. So that's got to sting a little bit. I mean, we've had that where we released DeMarcus Ware, and then we had to watch him win a Super Bowl somewhere else, and you're just like, oh, that hurts, man. That hurts. It hurts to watch. But I think I'm with you. I think the division will be a lot closer because I like a lot of the moves because I think we're taking a step forward. But again, with a lot of these keeping guys, Zeke, and I love Zeke. I think I love his culture that he's brought to us. But it's just the past couple of years. Last year I got sucked into that whole hype. I saw him running the cone. I was like, you know what? He does look a lot better this year. And then it was his worst year. I was just like, okay, I definitely did, misguided that, misthought that one.
This is a physical game. I love Zeke. I think he would be a good complementary back. I really do. Not a full back like Mark likes to say, but I think he did it just to prove his point. But I would love to keep Zeke. That's why I still maintain that he could have a longer stay with us than Pollard if he can come back. So at this point, I don't mind bringing him back if he can come on a cheaper deal, maybe $6 million.
Thank you, Blue.
It's a lot better, and then draft a young guy, and that's fine. They really like Kendra Miller out of TCU. I like him a lot too. I think he would fit in really good. There's a lot of guys, Bigsby out of Auburn. I can go on and on, but I wanted to ask you. I had written this down. Dak, they asked Dak if he wanted to have. He said all the right things, but his agent, Todd France, isn't stupid.
Yeah, he's a pain in the ass.
It's not going to be easy to bring him back, but Dak is a big fan of the option route. He's already on record. Now, we don't know, but a lot of their big plays and big scoring plays have come off of those option routes, but also a few of the interceptions, the bad ones, have come off of the option route. McCarthy came out and said he's not a fan of the option route. Basically,
I think it really depends on who the receiver is. When you're jumping on that option route, I think one of the worst receivers that we have for the option route is our best receiver. I think CeeDee Lamb is terrible at the option routes because he doesn't come back to the ball. If it's not hitting him in stride, he's just like, what's going on? It's just, and I don't like that with him. But if it's Gallup, I'll do that all day. But Gallup, even that comeback route, he kind of just like, what's going on?
I think we got to pick and choose when we want to do the option route. That's, I don't want to take one of our biggest weapons away, but I don't want to be turning the ball over in the red zone either.
Oh my God, yeah.
Noah Brown, no thank you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. We'd have Sugar Daddy says we'd have the same issue if we signed Travis Henry.
Oh, you mean Henry at a Tennessee?
Talking about Derrick Henry. You talking about? Or are we talking about Travis?
I don't know.
I'm not sure Travis Henry is. Twiz going.
I think it's Derrick Henry. Yeah.
Because I mean, they were talking about that. Whether you could get a second or a third. I don't like. I've never really liked Derrick Henry. I think you got to give him credit. He's awesome. He's beast. Everything. But there was a whole 6 to 7 years that he wasn't king. And he has to be in the right offense now. Now that he doesn't have that quarterback, it's not. It's just not the same.
Yeah, I think the NFL has smartened up on this whole situation. You see, Joe Mixon might be cut.
Cincinnati, right?
So that's what. Yeah, this all goes into why I said let the Pollard go out and test it, because he's literally going to be the 4th or 5th guy that people would want to pick up.
I like that, Mike. Mike says leave the option routes for the tight ends.
Yeah, right. The Y option. Yeah, there you go.
So Sugar Daddy was saying that Derrick Henry is also
carries,
carries to get in the rhythm. So those bigger guys like that, they have to kind of get going, and you gotta take it and kind of stick Kellen a little bit for not.
He should go to the
Eagles.
He
has that type of running back.
That Twiz.
Derrick Henry. Yeah, that would be a hell of a move for them. That would be, but you would at least relieve your quarterback from doing all that.
Him and AJ Brown back together. There's going to be a lot to talk about. We're still kind of waiting in the mud, waiting for all these different shoes to drop.
There's a lot.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens once this initial free agent buzz happens. It'll be interesting. But just real quick, like, what's your thought on Lamar Jackson, man, and what they're doing to him? Because he's kind of in a tough situation because he's not going to be allowed to be involved in that legal tampering period because he's tagged. Once you're tagged, you can't be tampering at all. I think he's going to have to wait.
Yeah, I think if I was the Ravens, I would have probably tried to sign him to trade him, or something where there's something happening there, because right now you're going to get 2 first. Like, let's say something happens, you'll get 2 first-round draft picks. What do you think a team would really give up if they had the chance to, like, really kind of go for it and really try to, like, I have to worry about this team going for him? What do you think you could get out of them? A lot more. So the value really there, but I can understand maybe the dead money, all that kind of stuff. That's why you don't want to get turned, into that. But to me, it just seems like you would get a lot more if you just signed and trade him, and then maybe in the trade they, there's something there. I feel that they're missing something. But hey, if he's not happy there, and I think you're getting what you can out of the situation. So I think it's very smart by the Ravens.
Yeah, me too. I think they should let him go for the 2. If you can't get a contract with him, let him go out there. But it's just interesting because free agency's or the legal tampering period is gonna start, and he's not gonna be allowed to go because Washington is gonna be in the mix.
Right? I mean, that's what Glimmerman mentioning that he can take offers. Yeah, he just can't go and seek. Right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, exactly. But it'll be interesting.
I love it. All of these teams don't want to deal with Lamar because his mom's being his agent.
Yeah. Well, did you see that Hopkins finally got his own agent?
I did not see that.
Ready
I saw
to
him
on. Hey, what's up, Cole?
I saw him on the Pat McAfee show, and he was talking about the trade, possible rumors, and everything. I think he was also talking about how it kind of humbled him in the sense that brought him back down to earth when he got traded from Houston. He really thought that he was one of those pieces that wasn't even a thought. But kind of opened his eyes and realized that you can't get. Hey, there's a chance that all this thing can happen.
Yeah, I see Twiz. If I'm Lamar, I sit out Baltimore doing him dirty. Yeah, I wonder what. It's almost like he's being blackballed, like in a way. It's almost like he's being
The whole Des Bryant situation.
Yeah, I don't think it's right, man. The guy is so dynamic. I hope he don't go to the Commanders. Yeah, for our sake.
Yeah, he would be
if you're gonna leave, man. But I think that if Baltimore wouldn't mind if you went there and get him out of the conference, he's right there. Well, Miami can't even.
Well, what's with Tua?
That's where he wants to go.
Yeah, I mean Tua can't.
Miami can't because.
The salary cap?
Yeah, but Miami can't bid because they don't have a first-round pick. They're automatically out.
Oh yeah.
So they're done. I read that Miami can't even make a play for the guy because they got their first round forfeited. So, and that's probably where he would want to go. So he literally is getting screwed over. So I feel bad for the guy, but at the same time, man, you got to get an agent. Sorry, that's just how it works, man. I don't think it's smart business to do it without an agent. So.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
They're talking about DeAndre Hopkins. Like, yeah, I mean, he's
I was gonna say congrats to Cole's Cowboys. He had a little baby.
Oh, congrats, Cole. That's awesome, man.
Well, his wife, what I mean.
Well, of course, yeah. I wasn't thinking that.
Well, I don't know.
Congratulations.
This is 2023, but no, yeah. Congrats, man. So what about D-Hop? B-Hop. D-Hop. Yeah, it is what it is, man. It's not going to happen.
I can't say I would not
I
be
think
excited.
we've all...
I mean, you have to understand that you're also getting a player that could possibly be injured, but he's the type of guy that will go up and get that football. I don't know how it is most recently.
I think it's perfect for Dak, but...
I think that would be an amazing combination with Dak, but yeah, I would not bet anything on that.
I think we're getting OBJ. Be prepared, people.
What's that big move? I think that's what Mike was saying. What do you think that big move? You think that supposed big move is OBJ?
It's OBJ. Yeah. Yep. I think if we make a trade, it'll be for the cornerback out of the Rams. I truly believe that Ramsey has a shot to be here.
Okay, so that's out of the both, what do you think is less likely? Not to say that either one would happen, okay? But a DeAndre Hopkins trade or a Stephon Diggs trade?
I think that believe it or not, I think Diggs has a better chance of being here than Hopkins.
Okay.
I do.
And what's
if I had to pick one over the other, but he's younger.
Okay.
And
they would be willing to trade.
I just think that would be it. Yeah.
DeAndre Hopkins, I think you can get it for cheaper.
Think about it. If it's a 1 for Diggs, okay, it's a low one at like 26, or a 2 for Hopkins.
So I think a guy like Diggs would be drawing a lot more than just a 1. It was just, to me, it's like a 1 and a 2, a 1 and a 3, something. He draws more.
Angelica, she says, yes, Brian, the big move is OBJ. How much are we going to pay him, Phil? I want to ask you that. How much are we really going to pay him? He ain't coming cheap. Are we paying him $20 million a year?
No, I would probably say 12, 13, and then
I don't know that he takes that.
Yeah, but
he might.
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
I'm with you. That's what I would want to pay him.
I think somebody would pay him. I mean, you always have these teams that you think would not have a chance, but like KC, how many times is KC making a move like this? So it's like if they all of a sudden came out and did it, you just be like, you wouldn't be surprised. I tell you that.
Yeah. Well, it's weird, man, because this year I really don't want any free agents. I don't want to lose our comp picks. There's no real free agent out there that I have to have. There's a couple trades I would have.
Yeah.
OBJ, if he's healthy,
the right spot.
For the right money, and we get to keep all of our picks, and don't screw up our picks, which we're usually pretty good with the draft. It could work out, but man, all right, it's going to be interesting. I think, it's going to be very interesting offseason. But one thing Bryan was mentioning earlier is that we were planning to be going to the NFL draft, going to be joining Mark, correct? I say that like I don't know. It'll be Mark. Mark and his cast of characters, me and you, will be out there. coming live on our channels.
Yeah, I got to figure that whole thing out.
Time.
It might be on my phone. It might be something like that. The worst case scenario.
It's gonna kill Phil not to have all the killer graphics, but it's more about the experience and
I want to get a bunch of videos.
being there.
Meet Mark, meet all the guys.
We'll have fun.
Yeah, I mean, DMV, I was looking forward to meeting you guys, seeing everybody in person as well, too. So, I mean, I've never been to an NFL draft as well. So
Me neither.
That's definitely something I'm excited about as well doing. I can understand. I want to go. And then, Glitterman, I don't want OBJ will rip the locker room apart. Just a feeling. I don't know if he's that same guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the way this locker room is really built. I don't feel like you could take somebody and throw them in there and they would. I think they handled the situation of OBJ, all the questions, and then at some point they kind of cut it. And I just feel that would be the same way. Look, man, we're going to give you a chance, but this isn't your locker room. You're coming into our atmosphere.
I don't think he has a big market. I really don't. Do you think he wants to go play for Cleveland? I'm not saying he don't. He was already there. Where's he going? Back to New York? No, they can't afford him. He's coming to Dallas, people. And I'm not overly against it. I'm just not excited. Don't try and sell me as that's our big move. Because, Jerry, the fans don't think it is. I think he could help. And if that's the case, then we maybe draft a young one. I'm trying to find, okay, if we do this, then what do we do? The only good thing is we could not waste a pick and go young, maybe get a new explosive tight end, get an edge rusher,
look where we found Bland. Look where we found Bland. Damone Clark. Think about Damone Clark. That dude is a beast. He, zeroes in. Reminds me a lot. He moves a lot like Zach Thomas. He in those holes just really seeks out the ball. He's
only going to get better, people. You got to remember, he didn't expect to play this year.
We lost
He
Ridgeway.
Was a rookie. Ridgeway. Oh, man. What a waste.
That was gonna hurt.
What a waste. He reached out to Mark, on the down low, people. He actually texted Mark through one of his platforms and said thank you because just a small world, man. How he was really appreciative that me and Phil, we were touting Ridgeway before we were picked, and they picked him. We were pretty excited. And I think it was us that got Mark on board with Ridgeway. And then when they exposed him like that, and then when he went to Washington and had the end of the year that he did, what a waste. Mm-hmm. What a waste did we do? How dare how dare Stephen Jones just linger him out there? And I blame Will McClay for that too, man. You cannot do that. Absolute waste, man. That's going to be a move that's going to haunt us.
Yeah,
you watch,
especially since he's in our division as well. They're not going to release him, and he'll probably be a star. And and you can see it. The guy had that charisma. Whether he was having, the guy was a 5th round draft pick, and he was having news conferences with Jerry Jones and stuff. So it's. You knew you had something special there, and how often were they hitting those 5th rounders? And you had five of the picks, but
we hit 2. Yeah, we hit 5th rounders more than we do in the 2nd rounders. I'll tell you that.
That's true. So, a lot to cover in the Dallas Cowboys. A lot of news each week. There's always something. It might be over the same people, but they start doing these moves that we're really hoping we're going into the offseason that we're not going to get anywhere near. No, you know what? We don't want to be the laughing joke. Maybe look what happened with Lonnell Collins. Look what happened with Gregory. Look, the Cowboys look smart. And then they followed up with this stupidity by making these decisions. So they're just so bipolar when it comes to some of this stuff. Are you improving your team?
Bipolar is a good word for it. I would say that they're bipolar. We have an owner / GM who needs to just sail off into the sunset and enjoy the rest of his life, man. I'm sorry. It's embarrassing at this point. I feel like he's a laughingstock. Jerry, I love you. Congrats being a Hall of Famer, but man, you really need to take a step back because obviously the organization is just letting you talk, but they don't do anything you really want anymore. Steven's running the show. And we all know about Steven. He ain't going to hit the free agency. he don't want to give up picks. It's going to be stick and pick, and hopefully we hit. So, it's frustrating. It is, and I'm not going to be Debbie Downer, but man, I just feel like we're wasting it. Wah wah wah.
But okay, so I mean, we covered quite a bit. I mean, there's going to be more news that are coming out. What's the big news going to be? Are we going to do anything? Maybe nothing at all.
Is Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets?
Yeah, that's the big.
I find that hard to believe.
I see a lot of similarities between him and Brett Favre. He complained a lot about when he was behind Brett Favre about the young guy and being the young guy.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's amazing how it's turning around, and it's almost the same ideal thing. Oh, I'm going to retire. I'm not going to retire. I'm going to retire. I'm not going to retire.
I'm going to the Jets.
I'm going to the Jets. I'm going to the Vikings now. It's just I'm going to your rival. So it's just. There's a lot of drama there. Be happy that we're not part of that whole drama crowd with what's going on over there. We, even the franchise itself, Green Bay's like, we don't want them back. No, we do. They're like, no, we don't want them. We're going to sign.
I don't think they do.
Well, they say they don't, and then they sign them into an extension last year, and then they come out and they say they don't want them this year. And now I don't know, man. They're in a bad relationship.
Now I'm hearing that Jimmy G is going to Oakland or Las Vegas, so. Who knows, man? It's going to be an interesting free agency.
We're going to see DiNucci come back into the league. It's going to be crazy. I'm eager to see what happens with the rest of these tags. I mean, there were some people that were released. I'm interested to see where the free agency goes, what happens within our own structure. Who's getting paid what? That'll dictate some stuff. Are we opening up any kind of money? Are we actually extending Dak? There's talk. Everything's talk. I mean, they love to talk, and I think this is right now is kind of their time. This is what they like. They like to be everything that we said now it's on the news for the next week or two.
Right.
That guy, even when you saw Jerry's interview, you saw him just kind of like just tilt back. I'm like, what is he doing? Like.
Yeah, he's getting himself some glory hole. That's the scary thing. Anyway.
Anyways, Bryan, before we get out of there, is there anything else you would like to talk about to these?
Nah, I think we covered as much as we possibly could. We touched on some of the stuff. Stay tuned. Next week, I don't know what time we're coming on, but
Jack, what's going on?
I'll let everybody know.
Jack points out before we go to leave, I'm going to say this, and I'll point it out. He says if Tyron takes a big cut, Zeke takes less than $6 million dead money, we may keep both. And I think even with Tyron, if Tyron doesn't take more than
out.
Well, if you cut Tyron, you save $8 million. If you don't take more than $8 million as the cut, then it's the stupid move. I think it's a very dumb move because you could have saved $8 million by releasing him. And so that's where I have to feel. If you're going to keep him, it has to be in that.
I think what's going on is they're having a talk with him. Say we need to restructure your deal. Basically.
Crazy. So I'm sorry, I cut. It froze there for a moment. I think it might be my internet connection is being unstable right now. So it's telling me that we have to go as well. So
alrighty then.
So
we're good.
So we're good, and we're going to be back next week. We're going to try. I think we should try to do something in the middle of the week where we'll probably do like a mock draft, and then at the end of the week we'll have our show. So that's will be kind of the slinging for the fences kind of thing for us. And see what we can do. Well, maybe we have more answers, so we know what we're going to be doing in the draft. Best player available. When's free agency start though? When's that actually happen? Do you know?
I believe it's the 15th, right? Or it's like I'm not exactly sure. I have everything written down here.
Maybe some of the guys, but I appreciate you guys coming through. We're just kind of lingering this up, but I kind of. There's a lot happening the next couple of weeks, and just a lot of things that need to be answered.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
But we'll definitely get to it. Don't. But anyways, we'll get back there. We can make the comments later about it. We'll talk about it more, next week as well. Being that it will be a mock draft type of show. So I appreciate you guys coming through, Bryan. I appreciate you hanging this hour with talking Cowboys, talking NFL. Definitely expanding, and I really like it. These conversations go very fast, especially with the group that we have, making some amazing Damn it, this damn Florida Wi-Fi. Yeah, it's that breeze, man. That breeze kind of pushes it away sometimes. So, but yeah, draft, man. That's what we're gonna do. So, share, like, see what you can do in the sense of leaving a comment, letting us know what you guys think the Dallas Cowboys are gonna do with a lot of these moves. You know, with Tyron Smith, with Zeke Elliott. It's all speculations. Everybody has different opinions. Some people want to keep, some people want to leave. But one thing that I know that I'll never forget is to do what? Ring that bell.
Always ring that bell.
Damn right. All right, peace, guys.
Hey, we know each other. He's a friend from work.
What you do, you're like a little screw loose type of guy, and I thought that's how I am. So I'm digging it, big guy. I am.
Who are you?
You.
No, not me, you.
Yes, I am you.
Just answer the damn questions. Who are you?
GameTime Bryan, otherwise known as the mailman here.
Cool name. Superpowers?
Broadcasting from the illustrious Jobu Studio.
Come on, are you going to tell me who that is?
Primetime Phil. And of course, my co-host, GameTime Bryan.
Oh, Jesus Christ, this place is going to explode. $100,000, I don't even need to hear it.